Hi and welcome to Erik Pensers. My name is Ludvig Svensson and I'm an equity analyst here at the bank. With me today I have Klaus Sindahl, IR of Hansa Biopharma. Welcome.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. This morning you released your report for the second quarter. Can you briefly go through the key financials in the report?
Yeah, absolutely. So here in the second quarter of 2022, we recorded a total revenue of 26 million Swedish krona. And that includes 19.5 million of product sales, so imlifidase for kidney transplantation. So this is roughly on par or a little below the first quarter, where we also demonstrated solid sales. So of course we are very satisfied with the results today. However, we have also highlighted that sales will be volatile throughout the year between quarters, since we are launching Idefirix in key markets, and we're doing this clinic by clinic, and we need to see proper follow-up before we have sort of established the foundation at the clinics, and we'll start to see repeat business at the center level. On the cost side, we have increased our R&D cost to 93 million for the quarter, which is merely a reflection of the fact that we have initiated the US ConfIdeS trial, so a phase 3 study in kidney transplantation, targeting BLA submission in first half of 2024. So that's a study in 64 highly sensitized kidney patients. And then we have also just initiated, we have actually treated the first patient in the post-approval efficacy study in Europe, which is a study in 50 patients, and this is a post-approval commitment we are doing based on the conditional approval we got 18 months ago. And then finally, we have also started preparation for the phase 3 anti-GBM study, which will commence later this year. So that's actually why the R&D spending is up a notch compared to same period last year.
All right, perfect, Klaus. And milestones. What important milestones have you reached in the second quarter?
Obviously, we received the important milestone of getting positive recommendation from NICE. So NICE in the UK, this is probably the most difficult decision, at least in Europe, to get. NICE is known to be very difficult and want to negotiate, and we have a highly priced drug candidate here, right? So of course it was a relief to see that we could come to terms with NICE, and they recommended imlifidase or Idefirix. So now we have landed 3 of the major European markets in the first half, with the early access in France, Germany in March, and then UK in June. So we should start to see some pickup from those 3 large geographies in the second half of the year.
Right. And you also announced a product financing transaction of $70 million with NovaQuest.
Mm-hmm.
Can you briefly go through this transaction and why you believe this is a beneficial structure for Hansa at this stage?
Yeah, absolutely. We announced late last night that we have come to an agreement on a financing transaction with NovaQuest Capital Management out of the US, and the structure of the agreement is that Hansa will receive $70 million upfront. So within the next 14 days, we will receive that on our books, and then it's designed so we will start or commence a repayment of the loan upon approval in the US, either in kidney transplantation or in anti-GBM, which is our lead indication outside of transplantation. So that's expected in 2025. So we have some leeway, we have some room to maneuver here over the next few years without having concerns on the financing and repayments. But obviously then when Idefirix gets approved, as we hope and believe, then we will start to repayment, but then we will also start to generate revenue in those important indications. So that will also help to pay back the loan. And what is also very good here is that the loan is capped at $140 million, which is very beneficial. Comparable loans would typically be 4 to 5x what you actually loan, because your partner here would also take on a technical risk. But actually we have convinced our partner for NovaQuest that we have high probability of success for getting approval in anti-GBM or in kidney transplantation in the US. So very, very good terms for Hansa. So we are very pleased with the outcome.
Great, interesting indeed. And finally, in terms of triggers, what are you expecting in terms of news flow during the second half of this year?
Yeah, first and foremost, I mean, we completed the enrollment in AMR, which is antibody-mediated rejection episode post-transplantation. So a phase 2 program where we have tested or enrolled 30 patients, where you want to avoid these rejection episodes where the patients are losing their graft function. And that was completed at the end of May, and we expect then to have a high-level data readout in the second half of the year. So this is obviously a catalyst for us. Secondly, we also hope to advance our second generation program, NICER, so these new enzymes which are less immunogenic, so you can use them for repeat dosing. So this is very, very critical. I mean, if you want to enter into the chronic space, for instance. And then we have 2 ongoing studies in kidney transplantation in the US. So this ConfIdeS studies and the GBS phase 2 program, which we expect to complete enrollment towards the end of this year. So those are quite frankly the milestones in the second half. I actually forgot to mention that we also expect to commence this anti-GBM phase 3 study after summertime sometimes, or even towards the end of the third quarter. So we actually have quite some interesting news flow in the second half also.
Great. So exciting times ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, given that we are a platform, I mean, we have so many opportunities to pursue, and that we now have secured financing for the next 2 years, I mean, opens up for investing in potential new indication areas. So we are very encouraged.
Okay, great, Klaus. Thank you so much for participating in this interview.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Wish you all a nice day.